Hey everybody, my name is John Lynch and I am doing 365 days of alternate day fasting, and today is day 155, so that means it's results day for month 5. This has been a really fascinating month for me. I'm going to start out by saying that things are going really well for me. I'm really enjoying the fast, despite the fact that this is by far the worst month for dropping weight. It's definitely the best month I've had for energy across the board, for having less sleep and getting things done. It's definitely the best month for exploring new food and trying out new recipes this month, and so I've really enjoyed food and tasting it and trying new things, and that's been really fun. So despite all these really good things going on, over this last week or so, I've had some just weird pressure building up when coming towards doing this video. I know the month's end is coming and the results video is going to happen and the numbers don't look great. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh man, maybe I should do some remedial work, some emergency fasting to get the numbers down, or maybe I can fudge the numbers a little bit. Crazy stuff, really. I mean, the only value I feel for me doing these videos is that I'm truthful with you about it, my good and bad things that are going on. And what it came down to was I realized at some point that I felt embarrassed. I felt I should be doing better on my fast. And it's a very strange thing. I mean, I think with all these things, as soon as you really see in the front of your mind what the emotion is and the trouble I'm having is, then it takes some of the pressure off me. It makes me realize that, oh, that's just crazy, And that's the way I feel about it. I mean, the fast is what it is, and I think it's going really well for me. Just for this month, the numbers don't seem that impressive. Now, they're not negative. They're not bad. They're still dropping the weight, and I'm noticing that inches are dropping off, and so I know there still are changes going on. It's just it's not flashy. That's the problem. And I noticed that this isn't the first time this has come up for me. So obviously somehow this is a real thing for me. All the way through this fasting, I've never been satisfied with how much the weight is dropping off, how fast it's going. The first time this came up for me, what I started to do was to just add a whole bunch of extra rules, like of what I wouldn't eat and when I wouldn't eat, and, extra stuff on my eating days. And this was a process that kind of took a couple months to develop all these extra rules, and it didn't make me happy. It actually made me quite unhappy with the fast. And as soon as I realized how unhappy I was, I cut that out. It was just, for me, I want this to continue a long time. And so that was necessary for me to stop that. But then you have to have some replacement because the weight wasn't coming off as fast as I wanted it to. And I realized what I would do is I would just add more fasting time. So this has been the first month where I have been adding the fasting time. Now, I'm not doing it on a schedule. So it's not like I'm building in double fasts every couple days or something like that. What I'm doing is there are some days when it's just really easy for me to think, hey, I can just continue this tomorrow. And then I do that. And I've done it a few times in the last month. And I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to see what the deal is. And it's not, again, like everything else with this, it's not as obvious as at first thought it would be. Every time I do a double fast, I hit a new low by the end of the second day. But the weight doesn't always stay down that far. It often jumps up over the next couple days, the next day that I eat even, and then it kind of slowly goes down or stays the same from that point. But then the next time I do a double weight thing, it goes down again to a new low, and that's happened quite consistently. I don't know what the deal is. I don't think that it has to be a terrible thing. For me, the important thing is getting my expectations right. If I expect it to do fantastically well and it does okay, then I'm unhappy. If I expect it to do a little bit okay, and it does better than that, then I'm going to be happy. So I want to work on the safe side, and it starts by knowing what happens. So for some reason, after a double day fast, maybe I'm extra dehydrated, my body doesn't need as much water with less food going into it, it pulls it back in, and all of a sudden, my weight goes up again. So I do feel successful that the experiment is moving along. I'm learning about the double day fasts, and they're helping. So it is a viable way of doing it. And I don't mind actually if the weight comes off slowly, so long as it steadily comes off, because I am really thinking of this as a long-term thing. So what I got from this little mental crisis that I had this month, beyond the fact that there are so much more weird psychological stuff regarding food and weight loss than I'd ever realized when I started this, what I got was I'm actually coming up against something, right? There's a real thing here that I didn't notice, and that is that when I want to lose weight in the past, I've always tried to do a trick of some sort, like even this fasting thing is a trick, though it's going to be a long-term trick, I realize, and it's the minimum that I need to be successful in losing weight, I realize. So what's really struck me with this is that every time I want to lose weight in the past, I've had to try I've tried something new, a new trick of some sort. And in this one, my hard rule is that I'm not going to restrict myself on my eating days. It feels super important for me to continue with this. But what happens is that you still got to lose weight somehow. You have to make changes. And just the simple alternate day fasting isn't enough, it seems like to me. So there's more that I need. And the thing is that there does seem to be a solution. I'm slowly working it out over time. So one of the things that I'm adding this month is my new burst of interest in food and flavor and being excited about food again, and taking some fun with it and having creativity and learning new recipes and trying stuff. And that is a lot of fun for me within the amount of time that I have to do it. It's a place to put my energy of my enthusiasm for food instead of just simply having, you eat sugar and you enjoy that. So the thing that I seem to be coming up against this month is just sitting in that place of uncertainty. I don't entirely know what it's going to look like when this works. I know the things that I don't want it to look like. I don't want it to look like a bunch of restrictions. That's just not going to work for me long term. I know that. I also know that I'm going to have to continue with the fasting for a long time, and that's fine. I enjoy that part of it. It seems like the door that's opening to make this work for me is not in restricting what I'm doing, but what I'm going to be adding to my food and the areas that I'm going to be adding interesting things and how to have more food that is maybe lighter, yet still full of flavor that I can add to my meals and stuff so that I'm not having as much heavy stuff. This is kind of the way my brain is working right now. It's what I'm focusing on. I've tried a few things and I'm getting some success with it. For example, I bought a spiralizer earlier this month so that I could make zucchini noodles to replace kind of starches in some of my meals, and yet still have like spaghetti and stuff and meatballs and all that sort of stuff to have a lighter part of the dinner, and that works really well. It's a success here. I enjoy it. My son enjoys it. Another recent success is having like chia seed pudding, which is a new thing that I'd never heard about before, which I've tried as a kind of a healthy dessert type thing, which I enjoy. My son absolutely loves it. He wants me to make it every day at this point, and it's really tasty. It's not calorie high. It has no sugar in it because I use erythritol as a sweetener. So kind of finding these things is really great for me. The third area that I'm really enjoying is just finding a bunch of different vegetables like eggplant and things that I've never really used as in my cooking, and that you can add a bunch of flavors to. And so it's something fun, having more things in my meals that are, so you have a variety of flavors and a variety of textures and stuff like that. And then I still have the other stuff. I still have, big meat things and stuff, but I don't eat as much of it because of the other things that I'm having. I don't think this is going to be a quick fix. I think this is going to be a great healthy fix, though. This is going to be like habits, like long-term habits that I'll be changing. And they don't feel restrictive to me. They feel really fun. I feel like I'm coming at it in a sense of exploration. And that is a really great way to be working from, because it just means I'm coming from a happy place, which is so much better than coming from this place where you've got to stop everything. You can't have this, you can't have that. So overall, I love this. All right, we've come to the time I want to go through the numbers. Now, I'm going to put up some pictures so you can see the difference when I started to where I've gotten to now. I'm also going to try to put up my weight loss chart. So if I can figure out how to do that, I'm going to put it up. So you're either seeing it or you're not. So for weight off the scale, I've only lost 2 pounds this month, which was a little disappointing for me, as you can tell. But I have lost inches as well. So let's see. My neck has stayed the same. I've lost ½ inch off of each of my arms. I've lost a full inch off of my chest, ½ inch off my stomach, and 3/4 of an inch off both my waist and my butt, and then ½ inch off of one leg and a full inch off the other leg. So not too bad. It's coming along there. I do still notice some changes happening. You know, this month I've got to the point where I'm putting another hole in my belt so that I can have my pants not falling down. I have to say that when your pants are falling down and you're trying to lose weight and you've been heavy for a long time, you don't mind it for a while, but there still is a point where you're like, this is too much. And so I've reached that point again for my belt, which always feels great. It's funny because when I look at the chart, which I guess I'm going to try to put up now, when I look at this chart that I have for my overall weight loss, it doesn't look bad to me. It just feels slow. And if I say to somebody that I've lost almost 40 pounds in this 5 months, which doesn't sound bad overall, and if you see the chart, it looks okay. It's just that I've had some maybe extreme weight loss in the past, and it's changed what I think it should take to lose weight. One of the things that I realize is that in all my past weight loss stuff, I'm coming up to the point that I bounced off of it. I've never hit below the 230s, like the low 230s maybe is probably the best I've done in the past. And then it just kind of turns around and heads up again. At the point that I get into the 230s, that's the point where I can't stand the diet anymore and I'm really struggling. So the great thing I'm finding with the fasting, the alternate day fasting, is that I am enjoying it more now than I did when I started. It's much easier now than it was when I started, and I didn't find it too bad at that point either. I've had some times when it's been a bit hard on me, especially energy-wise, but as I said, I feel the greatest I have energy-wise, and I'm really enjoying my food now. And so all these things are things that I'm really looking forward to and really enjoying, which is a novel situation to be in for me, you know, when I'm doing a weight loss project. So that's the overall situation. It's not too bad. It's weird that I felt embarrassed about it, but what are you going to do, you know? I'm really happy to have you guys watching and commenting and telling me your situations. That's been really great for me. And so keep it up. And hey, you've reached the end of another video.